What's going on, you guys? It's Justin back with another video, and today we're going to be talking some more Scream 6. But today we're going to be doing a spoiler movie review. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. So the movie opens up with Samara Weaving at a bar. She's waiting for her date, and she gets a text message from her date saying that he's going to be late. He doesn't know where he is. He's lost. Well, she starts talking to him, and they get into their jobs. I forget what he says he was, but she says that she was a college professor who majors in movies, like slasher movies and everything. And she starts going on about how it's weird how like the slasher goes after a girl and everything. Like they choose that one certain person. Well, they continue on with that, and eventually they get to where the guy's lost in an alley. Well, eventually she runs into an alley too, and he's saying that he needs help looking for it. Well, he asked if he sees her, and she says no, she cannot see him, but he can see somebody. Well, he starts walking towards that person, and he says that they're coming after him now, and all of a sudden the voice changes into Ghostface. And he's saying you should never trust anybody, especially when you go into a dark alley. And all of a sudden, this guy, I forget his name, but he's from Spider-Man No Way Home. He plays Flash. He came out, and he just starts stabbing her and doing all sorts of crazy things. And they were, when they were talking, she asked if she could see anything red. Well, this was probably my favorite one-liner of the whole movie. After he's done stabbing her, he like slashes her face, and then there's blood that goes across her face, across his face. Eventually, he says, "Now I see red," which I thought was kind of funny. But after that, we continue on with him stuffing his Ghostface stuff into a bag and just leaving. I mean, like, he's just asking to be caught by the police. I mean, he walked away from an alley and he's got all that bloody stuff in his bag. But yeah, it's good. And then eventually that guy gets home, and you see that he has a stab movie collection which has masks. Well, he puts one of the masks back on display, and then he gets a call from his friend. Well, he gets a call from this guy, and he has the Ghostface voice changer, and he tells this guy, you know, we aren't going to be doing this anymore. I thought we agreed we're not using the voice changer. And they start playing a game of hot and cold. Well, eventually, this guy gets led to a fridge that has his friend's dismembered parts in it, which was crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was a shock to the whole theater. But this guy eventually starts getting stabbed and everything, and this is where the twist comes in. He's getting stabbed in the stomach. While he is getting stabbed in the stomach, he thinks this is his friend. But he says to Ghostface, we have to finish Richie's story. Which Richie is... Let me see if I can point him out. Richie is that guy. Right there from the last movie. So he was Sam's boyfriend. Well, ex-boyfriend now. But you find out that his friends want to finish his story. So that means they're going after Sam and Tara from the last movie, the two sisters, Jenna Ortega and the other lady. I always forget her name. But yeah, that was really crazy how they did that. I thought that was a great opening. Very crazy how they did it too, especially since there was through maybe two Ghostface in the beginning. I mean, it was crazy. But yeah, a very awesome opening to the movie. Alright, so guys, and after that brutal kill, the next scene opens up with Sam at a therapist's office, and she's talking about the events that happened last year at Woodsboro. Well, she's talking to a therapist about it, and I don't think her therapist knows what happened. So, he said that she keeps talking about her sister when she needs to be talking about herself. And basically what she says is she's afraid she's going to be a killer. She tells him that she's Billy Loomis's daughter and she killed her boyfriend in self-defense. Well, he asked how she did it, and he said that she stabbed him 22 times and slit his throat. Well, he said that he was legally required to tell that to the police and told her that was it. Like, I don't think he wanted to see her anymore. So, yeah. After that, we get cut off to a next scene where it is Tara, Chad, and Mindy at a frat party on Halloween. Tara's wasted, and she's about to go upstairs with a big old drunk dude. And we all know what happens when you go upstairs with a big old drunk dude. Well, Mindy and her girlfriend, I forget her name, but they see it and they try to stop it. Well, he doesn't listen to them, so then of course Chad interferes, and him and Chad get into a big fight. And then Sam shows up out of nowhere, and she says to the guy, "I know what you're trying to do with my sister, so I'm going to taser your balls real quick." And he goes, "What?" And she just tases his balls. It's pretty funny. I mean, I thought. So, yeah. The dude gets his balls tasered, then they leave and they go home. And on their way home, Sam and Tara have a fight out in the street about how Tara wants Sam to leave her alone so she can live her own life. Like, she said, "What are you doing in New York, Sam? You're working 2 jobs for no reason. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my college degree and I'm going to just live my life. Forget about what happened last year." Well, Sam doesn't like that because she wants her to face what happened last year and stop putting it behind them. So then, finally they get home to their apartment, which is one of my favorite scenes ever. Alright, you guys, and then after that frat scene, it's the next day. They've all made up and everything. Sam and Tara see something on the news where it says that Sam is the prime suspect in the whole thing, because everybody had been making rumors that she's the one that killed Richie and that she set up the whole thing at Woodsboro last year. Well, eventually, she gets called down to the police department because one of the Ghostface had her ID on her. So she's going down to get questioned, but then she gets a call from Richie, her old boyfriend, which he's dead. So obviously they know it's Ghostface. Well, they answer, and I think he says you should always learn to watch your back. And Ghostface grabs Tara from behind, and he tries stabbing her, and she does like some kind of karate ninjutsu move on her, which is pretty funny. But yeah, they get away. And this is the iconic scene that we've seen in the trailer. I mean, this will probably be an iconic scene in all of horror history from now on. Ghostface, this guy right here, using a shotgun. That scene was so awesome. Probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I think it was called a bodega scene. Well, the bodega. How he runs in and he just basically massacres everybody in that store with that shotgun. That was crazy. And just so different from Ghostface to see in a Scream movie. Well, eventually they get out and they end up going home. Well, when they get home, they have another run into Ghostface, except it's not them that finds out. We find out earlier in the movie that Sam is dating this guy across the hall, and he's the one that sees Ghostface in the room with Sam's roommate, Olivia. Well, he's standing over her, and she doesn't know, and he's yelling at Ghostface like, "Yeah, I see you, I'm gonna get you." He's trying to get Sam and Tara's attention. Tara's, Chad, and Mindy's attention, because they're all staying together because Ghostface is back. So, I believe Chad calls them the Core Four. So, yeah, they're all staying there together just in case anything happens. Which is probably a good idea, because there's more people to fight them off then. But eventually the guy sends out a text saying that Ghostface is in their house. Well, they all get crazy, and understandably they get crazy, and they run out. Chad and Tara get out, but Mindy and Sam and Mindy's girlfriend are still in the house, and they have no way to get out, and they have the door barricaded. Both Mindy and Mindy's girlfriend get stabbed in this scene, and Mindy's girlfriend gets stabbed, and Ghostface is just bringing the knife up. Like, in the movie, they make you hear, like, all tissue ripping and everything. It's so nasty but so cool at the same time. But yeah, I mean, that scene was intense. Eventually they get a dresser to barricade the door, and they're trying to find a way out. Well, Sam's boyfriend from across the street puts a ladder outside the window, and they're crawling off of it. This is where we get our first death. Well, not our first death, but our first death of the main cast. Mindy's girlfriend. She is on the ladder while Mindy and Sam have made it across, and Ghostface finally gets into the room, and he grabs the ladder, and he's shaking it, and she's trying to get across, but he's not going to let her get across. So eventually what happens is he twists it finally, and she falls down, and there's dumpsters down there. She falls down, and she busts her head right on a dumpster, and I mean, she's dead. Obviously, she's dead. But yeah, that scene was so crazy and so cool at the same time. It's just very weird, but yeah. So then eventually, Sam and Tara end up at the police department. This is where they meet Kirby. Kirby comes back, and it shows that Sam and Kirby know each other because they went to high school together, which is kind of cool that they tied that in. So yeah, Kirby's in the mix now, and you know, all this Ghostface stuff is still happening. They're trying to figure out who it is, trying to figure out their prime suspect and all of this. And then we meet the detective, which is the father of Olivia. And he goes into the scene of their house, and he's coming out and he's crying. He's like, I lost both my kids now, man. I mean, this is so sad. It's crazy. Like, I felt bad for him in that moment. Just being a parent, losing both your kids, I could never imagine how that feels. Because, well, one, I don't have kids, and two, I'm not a parent. So, yeah. But, yeah, that was a crazy scene. But then, I believe it's the subway scene now. So, earlier in the movie, they ran into Gail. Gail was doing a press conference. Tara punches her in the face, just like Sydney did in the first movie, which is kind of funny. But they're trying to track Ghostface now. And Kirby tracks Ghostface's call to Gail Weathers' house. Now, this scene was probably the funniest scene in the movie, I guess you would say. Because then it switches to Gail, and Gail gets a call from Ghostface. And in the middle of it, she goes, oh, hold on. And she just hangs up on him, which is kind of funny. I always like when people do that because, I mean, it's funny. So then eventually Ghostface comes in, and he attacks Gail, kills her boyfriend and everything. And then this is the most heartbreaking part of the whole movie to me, probably. He sits there, and he basically mind tortures Gail, telling her that she wasn't there for Dewey when he died. Dewey died alone. Like, he was thinking about her when he died. I mean, that was the craziest part. He was just torturing her with that, which is a good idea if you're a killer. And, I mean, you're trying to get into the person's head. But that whole part was crazy, man. I mean, that's probably one of the best parts of the movie. So, yeah. And then the following scene, we get the core four. Sam, Tara, Chad, Mindy, and Sam's boyfriend going to the subway because they want to go to the Ghostface place, well, the Ghostface shrine that they found, and they want to trap him there, and they want to try to keep him there. So, I was wrong. It's Chad, Sam, Mindy, Tara, Kirby, and Sam's boyfriend. That's who's all going. And so, all four of the people get onto the train. So Sam, Tara, Chad, and Kirby all got on one train, while Mindy and Chad's friend Ethan have to get on another train. But Mindy's scared because she thinks that Chad's friend is Ghostface, which understandably so. Anybody in this movie could be Ghostface. Well, eventually when Mindy and Ethan are on the subway, they go through a dark tunnel, And she's starting to see all these ghost faces pop up. I mean, they got other people in there. They got Michael Myers, Chucky, Pennywise, the Babadook, Freddy Krueger, Pinhead, Jason. They have basically every single horror character in there. But this one ghost face keeps getting closer to her, but slowly. And then they start going through a tunnel, and they give you a jump scare where it's dark for a little bit, and then it comes back on, and he grabs her mouth like this, and he just shoves a knife right into her, which was crazy. But eventually we find out that the other four made it to the Ghostface shrine, and they start setting up. So Kirby, Sam, Tara, and Chad are there with Sam's boyfriend, but Sam's boyfriend was told to stay out of there because she didn't want him to be in there, because like she said, she can't trust him. You can't trust anybody in these movies. So really, in there, it's just Sam, Tara, Kirby, and Chad. They're waiting for Mindy and Ethan to get there. Well, they don't know what happened to Mindy and Ethan, so they start setting up. And Kirby is the one that has the badge to get in and out of the place. Well, eventually, after they talk about their plan to catch Ghostface, put him in this big old cage, kill him, Sam gets a call from the detective, and he's saying that you guys need to get out of there now. Kirby hasn't worked for the FBI in over 3 years. They say that she was mentally deranged, and yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. Well, Sam starts to believe it, and she's trying to get all of them out of there. And then eventually, to make it even seem like she is Ghostface, a Ghostface pops out after them, and they run away. And then eventually Kirby magically appears like they used to do in the old movies. So they have you thinking it's Ghostface, but then another Ghostface pops out. So now it's Chad, Tara, Sam, and Kirby surrounded by ghost faces. She gets stabbed. Kirby gets stabbed and shot like 6 times by the detective. And the big shock is that the detective is Ghostface, and the other 2 ghost faces take off their mask. The first one that takes off the mask is a girl, an orange-haired girl from the beginning of the movie, Olivia. She takes her mask off. You find out she's not dead. She's the daughter of the detective. And the other one to take his mask off is the guy that was with Mindy on the subway train, which was crazy to find out. I mean, I suspected it was him in the movie, but I didn't really think it would be him because I thought it seemed too obvious, but obviously it wasn't. But then you come to find out that the detective was Richie's father, and Olivia was his sister, and Ethan was his brother, and they all want revenge on Sam and Tara for killing Richie back in Woodsboro. They blame her for his death, even though he was the one that was trying to kill her. Well, eventually all hell breaks loose. They all start fighting. I believe the first one to die is Olivia. Sam shoots her right in the head, and Ethan chases after Sam and Tara's about to fall off a balcony, and Sam's holding on to her, and Tara looks down. She says, "Let me go. Just let me go." So she lets her go, and Ethan's waiting down there for her. He's holding a knife up, and it goes right into Tara's stomach. Well, she rips it out, and she shoves it in his mouth, and she twists it. So this dude's voice box has to be gone. Like, there's no doubt about it. And eventually, you think he's dead. But they start to deal with the detective. And the detective is holding Billy Loomis's mask, which was crazy because he's like, "Come on, you know you want to put it on. Put it on." And eventually he gets knocked out. Well, Sam calls him after he wakes up, and he can see that Billy's whole costume is gone. So Sam is now wearing Billy Loomis's costume, the old ghost face mask and his gown, even holding his knife. And Billy's in the mirror looking at her saying like, "Yeah, let's get our kill on," which is kind of cool. I like that they bring him back for those. So yeah, eventually she ends up killing the detective, and the movie ends with Sam and Tara surviving. And earlier in the movie, Chad got stabbed a whole bunch of times in the chest, but he ends up surviving that. Mindy ends up surviving her stab wound, and everybody lives happily ever after. So yeah, I have a theory for the seventh one, which I'm hoping Sydney comes back, and if she does, I want them. Mike on We Watch the Movie always talks about this. He talks about how there could be a Stu coming back, which I actually believe he makes a good point. And another point I wanted to add to that was in the Ghostface shrine, they had Billy Loomis's clothes from when he died, but they did not have Stu Macher's clothes from when he died. Stu was wearing a white sweater, and they didn't have that in there, which was surprising to me. The only thing they had was the TV and his robe. They didn't have anything else, which I was thinking, oh, well, if he's dead, they would have been able to take the clothes, but obviously they didn't get them. So, yeah. I don't know. It's just a theory. Hopefully Stu comes back sometime. Sydney will probably be back for the next movie. Hopefully this whole pay thing gets over. Hopefully she'll be back. But, yeah. Let me know what you guys thought about Scream 6 down in the comments below. Me, personally, I loved it. I got a really cool poster. I'll put it in the video at the end so you guys can see it. But, yeah. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comments below. Like I said, I loved it. I want to know what you guys thought about it. And what are you guys' idea for a seventh movie? Hope you guys have a good one. And peace out.